With the newest Zelda trailer coming out recently, it got me super excited not only for the game itself, but also for all the new ways we will be able to break it. So, in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at some of the well-known glitches from Breath of the Wild, and use what we know so far to see whether or not the glitch will carry over, as Tears of the Kingdom shares quite a lot of similarities with Breath of the Wild, and will run on the same engine and reuse code. Aside from previous glitches, I'm also going to be placing some educated guesses on where some glitches will be discovered with new mechanics purely based off how old glitches work. These predictions will most likely be wrong, but it's always fun to try and theorize about this sort of thing. Also, if you aren't very familiar with glitches in Breath of the Wild, I recommend these two videos which will get you up to date with all the weird and useful glitches in Breath of the Wild. These first few glitches have a super low chance of coming back based on what we have seen with runes in the trailer. These trailers have shown us several new runes that will highly likely replace the old runes like stasis. It doesn't seem likely that the old runes will return based on how similar some of these new ones are. Take this sort of green magnesis one that looks like instead of working on metal, works on this new green material that seems to be littered around Hyrule. So the glitches that we most likely won't be seeing include wind bombing, bow lift smuggle slide, stasis launch, and even the magnesis flying machine. All these glitches use runes, and the fact that we haven't seen any of these runes yet means that it's highly unlikely that these glitches will carry over to Tears of the Kingdom. On a side note, BLSS still has a chance of working, as it can work with any item picked up such as pots. So this glitch may continue over, be a shell of its former self. These next glitches are all related to the menus in Breath of the Wild, and as we haven't seen whether the menu system will be similar or completely different in Tears of the Kingdom, these glitches may or may not be in the game. From the trailers, we haven't really seen anything outside of cinematic shots, and things such as menus haven't really been touched upon in the trailers, as they've more been aimed on showing the new content and mechanics in the game. Without this information, it's impossible to say whether or not these glitches will be in the game, but there is definitely a chance that the menus will be quite similar, and glitches such as item duplication and menu overloading could still be usable, as the hardware is still the same and the code is most likely going to be recycled for certain parts that just don't need to be changed. When it comes to the more advanced glitches, such as weapon modifier corruption, it's much less likely that it will carry over one for one, but I believe that with some time menu glitches like this will most likely be discovered. Out of all the well-known glitches in Breath of the Wild, the ones that are more likely than not mainly are ones that are based off very simple core mechanics. Glitches such as the bullet time bounce and shield clipping both revolve around using the shield, and from what we've seen in the trailer, Link definitely will have a shield in this new game. And when it comes to shield mechanics, I don't think that they will be changed too drastically, as they worked well enough in Breath of the Wild. Now, the individual spots where you can clip into will obviously be different in the new game, but it's likely enough that with some time these clips will still work. And as for bullet time bounce, the three core components being a bow, a shield, and an enemy all have been confirmed to be in Tears of the Kingdom, and due to the fact that BLSS and wind bombing won't be available, BTBs might become useful again in speedrunning, at least for the first few months of the game anyway. Another glitch that is super likely to come back is whistle sprinting, as Link's shown in the trailer riding a horse, which means that he will still be able to whistle, and it's very unlikely that they change the stamina system in Tears of the Kingdom. So unless Nintendo has gone out of the way to stop us from whistle sprinting, we will also see this in the new game. Another bit more obscure glitch that I surprisingly think is likely to return is actually moon jumping. If you don't know, the moon jumping setup only involves a horse and a target practice minigame, and horses are confirmed to be in the game, as well as there being a high likelihood that there will be some sort of horseback archery range, as it's a super common thing among Zelda games. Not only did I want to discuss old glitches, but I also wanted to quickly go over some predictions for future glitches, completely original to Tears of the Kingdom. Now, this is most likely going to be completely wrong, because the way glitches are discovered are normally completely random, but just looking at some of the past interactions in Breath of the Wild, I wanted to sort of guess some things that may be possible. The main thing I wanted to start off with is about all the new runes added, as in Breath of the Wild, runes were a massive part of several glitches. These new runes we have seen include a magnesis-like rune but for these greenish objects, a time reverse rune similar to stasis, and some sort of rune that lets Link go up through the ground in certain places. Along with runes, another large part of the game includes all the new weapons shown, and of course the cool new vehicles shown. Out of all this stuff, I feel like small optimizations will come from these brand new weapons, such as a way to quickly fire and cancel this bomb staff or something along those lines. Well, I think the much larger glitches will come from the vehicles and runes, as we might get some weird interactions between them and the world. I feel like the vehicles themselves will most likely have some cool glitch with them discovered and will add an extra bit of mobility or just some sort of skip. And hopefully with the runes, many weird interactions will be discovered and eventually lead to either weird mobility or just strange interactions with the world. And on top of all the little stuff that we actually do know, I'm assuming that there will be a wide variety of content as this game's been worked on for 6 years, and there will be tons of cool mechanics and other things to break from locations to enemies. On top of all this, we still don't know the overall structure of the game, and whether or not it will be similar to Breath of the Wild, or if it will be more linear with a more set storyline compared to the last game. I hope you guys enjoyed this more theoretical video on future glitches, as this stuff is all very exciting, and when Tears of the Kingdom does eventually come around, you can expect in-depth guides on all new glitches and old glitches that get discovered, as well as other super cool Zelda videos.